Hey guys, welcome back to Ringsiders. We are joined once again by our friend John Draper. How you doing, man?
I'm not doing as well as you, handsome gentlemen. My goodness.
Stop it.
I want to
Well,
thank Rivers for inviting me and then not showing up. I
yes,
appreciate it. Always a pleasure. When
Uh,
I was saying before we went on the air, just to let people know, Ringsiders is great because you get invited and then they don't show up. It's amazing. I don't think they do it with like the dudes from Rancid. You wouldn't pull that with, or
no,
like,
no, we
or
were
like,
fighting to interview Lars Fredrickson. With
of
you, we were
course.
fighting over who gets to big time you.
I know it's amazing to see where you rate with people, and
just for the record, I big timed Lars Fredrickson.
He
yeah,
did. Yeah,
yeah.
he did.
This is you guys are breaking with tradition by both showing up when I come on.
I,
I
I
know,
feel
right?
weird being here, actually. Like,
I don't
it's
know.
been a
Yeah,
while since we've spoken, John, I think.
I'm trying to remember the last time we spoke, and
it was
honestly I'm drawing a
I
blank.
kind of feel like it was Survivor Series last year.
No, no, no.
No,
Maybe
WrestleMania.
maybe it was Mania, but that
Yeah.
seems like so long
no,
ago.
no. You did SummerSlam, didn't you?
I think.
SummerSlam. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I come out for
was
the
a
big
lot.
ones. You invite me
Yeah,
for the big ones,
you
and then
come for
I
the big
only.
one.
These are the only shows I watch now at certain
Yeah,
points. So I don't know. It's like,
we
but
get you for the big ones. But it
well,
is weird because Rivers is normally the one that's
I
always here for
know.
you.
I know. I guess he's over it. I guess Rivers is over it. That's cool. Whatever, man. That's cool. I get it.
We'll make him feel good. We're seeing him on Wednesday, so we'll make him
Oh,
feel
are you
good.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, this is Thanksgiving. You guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving
No,
because you're not in America, but you do celebrate Black Friday, which I didn't know
we
that.
do. We
Yeah,
do.
we definitely don't celebrate Thanksgiving here because, like, I often get there's some Americans which ask, do we celebrate Independence Day? And it's like, do you understand what Independence Day is? Like,
That's a little strange.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, honestly, it's a question that comes up. They're like, you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you don't celebrate Independence Day. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're celebrating your independence from us.
Yeah, I think, I think the phrase stupid American is a good phrase. I think it's a good I think we should like Morrissey had this song I don't know what album, but the first song was called America is Not the World. And it's
Right.
literally this tangent about America.
Well,
And then he's like, "But I love you, but I just want to say," you know what I mean? And I was just like,
I do love you, American. You are my favorite people. But at the same time, when I was in Orlando before, there was a taxi driver who asked if Paris was in London,
yeah,
and
I'm not. Yeah,
because it's their own little bubble, and they don't need to go outside of America. Sometimes you don't
yeah,
need to go outside of your own state because it's so big. And I get it, I do get it, but it's still funny when it happens. So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, well, look, you're being too nice. We're stupid. We know we're stupid. I don't think we don't know we're stupid. We're smart enough to know we're dumb, and I
no,
think.
you're smart. you're,
Well, I'm a different breed. I'm not a typical American. I mean, I may look like a thumb with a beard, but I have I have some personality to
You're
me.
not Hulk Hogan with the flag in the background, taking a
No,
saying your
no,
prayers.
no. I love America. Mike, like I love a lot of I love my dogs, but they could be jerks. I love my kids, but they could be wrong.
This
I
is
love my
true.
country.
I
I
just,
love my country. I hate my government.
I'd
That
just
would
like to
probably be
say
what
that's
I was.
also true
Yeah.
of us. I love my country. I hate my government, and
Hate
we
my
Yes.
can
government.
also be very stupid.
My
So
Yeah,
God, yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do hate our government.
because
My
we're not
God.
that different, really,
No,
when it comes to
we're
it.
not.
No, no. I feel like we've infested your company with your country with our problems. I feel like
Yeah.
our problems got so bad that we infected everybody with all of our
Yeah,
nonsense
but
and our
let's go
crazy.
further back. I feel like we was your original problem. So maybe this is,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean, we had to we had look, we broke up.
Mhm.
We were
it was
in this
messy.
relationship. It was very messy. Feelings got hurt. Some people died, and then we became best friends after though. I mean, we've
Yeah,
been best
Right.
friends ever
sorry,
since.
the special relationship you call it. That's what it is.
We've been best friends. I mean, since 1776 we've been best friends? That's a
Yeah.
long time. I mean, especially in wrestling, that's unheard of. Somebody's
I,
got to hit somebody with a chair at some point.
You know what doesn't
exactly.
last long? This is a good segue. Some of the contracts in WWE. Um,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to talk about
Oh,
first.
sure.
I
Yeah,
feel
whatever you
like
guys want.
I feel like we can't touch on Survivor Series without talking about the people that released before Survivor Series. I believe it's in the last 12 months, it's 150 talents. And it seems like it's just a weekly thing now where there's a round of releases. Have any of the recent releases shocked you to your core, John? Because I feel like there's so much have happened where I'm like, why the fuck did that happen?
Well, I mean, just on a personal note, because a lot of people do know this, and it's not really speaking for me. I'm speaking from my brother Kevin Castle. Kevin has been friends with Cross for a very long
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and a lot of people and Don Tony. This is a this is a real friendship that goes back a long time. They're very friendly, and so we've always been, and even people in the suit, like we've always known this. Like I even before Kevin Cross, I call him Kevin Cross. I shouldn't say that. Even before Killer Cross became famous, they've known each other for a long time. And when he sort of got signed, we were all very excited. He was very excited. Kevin, my brother, was extremely excited. And Kevin, I should stop calling him Kevin Cross. Because his real name is Kevin too. But Killer Cross was very quick to recognize that Don Tony and Kevin Castle were people that he's listened to and known for a long time when he was working out and trying to become what he is. So when he got signed, I immediately was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then he was doing so well in NXT, and I was like, this is great. And I was happy by proxy for Scarlett. So, that to me is I'm really bitter about that for personal reasons. Like it's because he's such a good guy, and I think people know he's a good guy, and people have met him, and people like him a lot. But he's a really good guy. Like believe me, I say this very, very honestly. Like, he's a good guy. I mean, he is a guy that you want when good things happen for a guy like that, and you know him. You feel it in a way. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. This is great. I don't know him personally. He knows me as Kevin's brother. Like he'll talk to me in that capacity.
Yeah.
But he knows my brother very well. So, but my brother's always been very transparent about that friendship. So him and Scarlett mean something to us, and like they mean, way more to Kevin Castle. So I don't know that anything's gonna touch that for me from an entertainment standpoint, because I happen to know a little bit about Killer Cross on a personal side and some personal things that make me like him even more. That one really sucks. That one hurts.
I
that
agree.
one hurt really bad.
Yeah.
I was angry. My brother was. I'm sure my brother. That's a very much more personal thing. You know what I mean? But for me, by proxy, because of all the kindness he's shown my brother and Don Tony. Wow. I mean, what did you guys think of him being cut with Scarlett?
Oh, dude, honestly, I think that out of all of them, even including Bray Wyatt, for example, was the one that shocked me the most, because Bray Wyatt, you could see, was already 1 foot out the door. He was going, But Killer Cross, Carrying Cross in WWE, he was displayed as this monster in NXT, 2-time NXT champion, feuded with Samoa Joe, called up. And as soon as he was called up, you know what? By the first match sometimes whether or not they're taking someone seriously. And with him and Jeff Hardy, I was like, this isn't going to go well. And then you get all the fans going, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. And we're like, we've done this before. We've been through this. We know how it's going to end. And when he got released, I was surprised, but I wasn't. Not as much as I should have been. I was. It's bad because I was kind of happy for the guy, because I thought. Well, like, at least now you can go kill it somewhere else, because you are that good. You deserve to be used well. This wasn't going to happen for you here. It should have done, but it didn't.
Yeah. Well, what did Mick Foley say? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just bring him up and have him continue to be the killer that he was in NXT?
I don't know. Honestly, guys, like that was so. You want to know something so awful for me? We were going on the air that night to record, and Scarlett got let go, and I'm talking to my brother-in-law. And I was just like, honestly, I think she was just too sexy for the room. She has just so much sex appeal to her that I think it's almost uncomfortable for them. Like, she just, like, it's just in her nature to be super sexual, and they're not really looking for that anymore. They're just not kind of directly. So I was okay with it. And then like 40 minutes later, I was like, you got to be effing kidding me. I was like, him too. I was like, oh, come on, man. Come on. I was just like, so that was rough. What did you guys think of her? Did you think they couldn't find something for her because they just didn't have the need for her to be so what was the thing? The smoke show? Like what would you have done with her? What would you guys have done with her?
I'd have kept them together like NXT.
Of course, yeah.
I used to love when she used to come out and she'd put the egg timer on the ring and things like that. I wouldn't have touched it. I wouldn't have changed a thing. This is what annoys me.
Yeah.
It's like, what goes on in those meetings? Is it? I mean, it boils down to it's a Vince decision. So I mean,
at the end of the day, yeah.
What goes through his mind? Why change it? Why look at that and think I'm going to change that? I don't get it.
Completely agree with you both. It should have just been a package deal.
Yeah.
You've got Karrion Kross who doesn't speak because he doesn't need to. You have Scarlett do the speaking, and even if she's not speaking, just doing the actions like Jamie said, she puts the egg timer on the ring. Time's running out for that wrestler who they've targeted.
Brilliant.
So perfect. You don't need to speak. And he was good enough in the ring that he was a believable monster. And I don't know why when he came up to the main roster, they thought, no, let's make him into some kind of Mad Max sex gladiator.
Yeah, it was weird. And then, when he was off TV, he was doing all these photo shoots where he looked like a Grand Theft Auto character. And Kevin grew his, I should probably stop saying his name. He grew his hair out and he was wearing like suits and he just looks like this. And I was like, oh, I was telling people behind the scenes that I was like, look, I don't know. I was like, my brother might know, but I think they're giving him a different character because he's dressed in nice clothes. He grew his hair out. Almost like I keep saying Grand Theft Auto, but he was like, it reminded me of that in a way.
Do you know what
he
it was?
He looked like that.
It was the Sean O'Hare Devil's Advocate gimmick.
Right, there you go.
That's what it seemed like to me. He was doing the. I thought that was a great gimmick with untapped potential.
Yeah, so a lot of other people too. Yeah, and the thing is, he gave no indication that he was like unhappy or like on his social media. He was doing the work, and I know he got hurt. I was shocked, and I literally said right up until that point, I think they're repackaging him, and I'm excited if they repackage him as this like asshole, like tough guy, like wearing the $3,000 suit, with the incredibly attractive woman by his side, beating the hell out of people.
Yeah. It's
perfect.
Yeah.
But
I don't. Do you guys have a thing? I mean, do you think he's free in February? So I think I would like to see him go to Japan, to be honest with you. I just think he could mean a lot there as like.
I was thinking Japan as well, actually.
I think when it comes to Japan at the moment, a lot of the guys are doing New Japan Strong because it's still based in America. So maybe seeing him do New Japan Strong would be good. But then also going back to Impact maybe and doing that Impact.
Well, he left on very bad terms.
Yeah.
Him and her left on public. That was public. So
it was very public, wasn't it?
It was public. And that was kind of the first time a lot of people ever really heard Cross talk like that. Like talk like a normal
because
guy.
His work there was so good. And it is a shame. But I think anywhere would be. I think he's going to be a star anywhere. I think he's that good. I didn't even think of Japan until you both said, so that could.
I have this vision of him and her coming out in Japan, and him just destroying people, and like because they lost Lance Archer, they lost. I guess they're getting Davey Boy back. I don't know. Like they lost a lot of these guys, like these American ass kickers, right? I mean, just to have him go out there and do like a hitman, like dress like hitman character, like with the suit, and him and her come out. And like her putting the clock down, and like, dude, people eat that. People are gonna lose their minds if they see him out there like that.
Yeah,
I mean, he could have a run with Okada, like doing that shit easily have a run. I'm not saying give him the belt. I'm saying I'm not getting crazy, but I'm saying like have him as a credible threat. For the high profile shows, and then let these other companies. Because honestly, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't want him to go to AEW.
I don't. It's why I didn't even say it.
Big mistake.
Yeah. I agree. He's too good to be.
Too many people.
Yeah, to be just lost in the shuffle in AEW.
No. He'll be doing dark matches by the third week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am curious, John, as well, before we talk Survivor Series, with all these releases, they're going about budget cuts. What do you think? I mean, you hear a lot of people saying Vince is prepared to sell.
I said this a while ago. I had no proof, and I have no proof now. And other people have sort of kind of come at me for saying this. I think they're selling the company. There is a way a business acts when you have a lot of debt or a lot of money on your books, and necessary. And what like a lot of these people really. Let's be honest. I mean, of the 100-something people, 150, let's say for devil's advocate purposes, maybe 100 of them you probably didn't even remember were there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you didn't really see them that much.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to polish themselves up to be sold. I'm also hearing now that Triple H and Stephanie might not be together anymore. I don't know if you heard that.
No.
No.
Yeah, I have no proof. This is all people that because I know a lot of people, and they said they have no proof, but they said that there is a lot of speculation that they are not together.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Please take that with a grain of salt. I'm
Oh
not.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and also, a lot of people have pointed out that this is the dismantling of Triple H's legacy in a lot of ways. Like
It is.
like it is. It's erasing his It's erasing his business legacy.
Mm.
NXT right now looks like a kid. I mean, it looks like it just looks
Nickelodeon.
like a festival, like a carnival
I'll be
wrestling
honest with
show.
you, I've not watched it since the
It's
revamp.
very bad. It's very bad.
There's parts of it I like there's
People
Tony
I like.
D'Angelo and Joe Gacy.
Yeah.
I think are fucking amazing, and I love them, but they'd have fit just as well into the old NXT.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think it needed to be rebranded and called 2.0, which kills me every time I see it.
Yeah, I don't like the layout. I don't
No.
like. There's a lot of things I don't like. I like the Creed brothers, but I don't like that Diamond Mine gimmick. I think that's as bad as Hit Row.
It's boring and vanilla as it gets.
Yeah, Roderick Strong. I don't know who is big on Roderick Strong, but he's an indie wrestler. I mean, like, he's a small sized indie wrestler who's a good white meat baby face in a small show. That's it. You can't make him anything more than that.
MMA gimmicks are very boring in pro wrestling anyway.
They always fail.
Yeah.
They always fail. They fail for the women. They fail for the men. I don't know if any of this is true, but I feel like, just from a business standpoint, it feels very obvious to me that they're trying to get as much debt or get anything bad off the books.
Yep.
So when they go before an underwriter or a major and by the way, a lot of people think it's Universal. They may have an agreement that Universal gets what they call first look because of their relationship with NBC Universal, that they get to buy them. I think moving to the network was a terrible idea. I still don't understand. People are very unhappy with that. People are really unhappy with the layoffs. People are really unhappy with a lot of the TV, and yet money is being made. You know what I mean? So their net profit is fantastic. They raised the prices on all their shows in terms of their live shows are very expensive to go to. Now, they were always very expensive in New York, but they're very expensive to go to now. And they're not doing unnecessary house shows anymore because they lost money. So look, if in March you find out that Universal is buying WWE for $3 billion or whatever, would you really be that surprised?
No.
Not now. No.
I would have been a few years ago. It would be the news you expect to hear the least, but now there is a good possibility. It doesn't make any other sense why this is happening.
Yeah, none. Especially with you also guys have to think about this too. They're doing this literally with a full-time competitor in existence. Okay. And they're cutting more than ever before. Normally, you keep these people on the books, let them play video games in the back and eat catering, so this way they can't bring value to your competitor.
Yep.
Right? No, they don't do that anymore. There's a TV show that competes with them sort of softly all the time for market and revenue and ratings and company people, and people's attention. And they are so completely unfazed by any success AEW has. And I feel like that's not Vince. That's not the way Vince is.
No.
Vince is somebody who, if you make $1 in wrestling, he wants to take it from you. He doesn't think anyone else should make. And the fact that he's not doing that, I don't think it's because he's old. I think it's because there's bigger things on the table than AEW's ratings, or whether Meltzer or Alvarez think, Luchasaurus has more 5-star matches than Roman Reigns. There's bigger things on the table. And the bigger thing on the table could be record-setting profitability from selling that company outright.
Yeah,
record-setting.
I agree. I think there's something going on. There's more happening than we know.
I just want to say as well, I did mention to Jamie before we recorded, it's very tone deaf, but they're going on about all these, budget cuts. But then last night we saw that Vince McMahon had a $100 million golden egg.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something.
It's a fuck you. It's a fuck you. I mean,
It's not
it
adding
just
up, is it?
It's a fuck you. Yeah, it's a fuck you. I mean, it's it's crazy. I know people that worked for WWE, like from a corporate standpoint. I also know people that worked behind the scenes in things like makeup and costumes and stuff like that. And they're so far removed from all of this, like, and they work there, and they're so far. So you can imagine, like I never, like the person I know, and I don't even want to say if they're a guy or a girl, but I know a person that worked there for quite a bit before AEW started, and was like before COVID, and was like touring, doing people's makeup and all that other stuff. And you would have thought this person works for the greatest company on the earth, because maybe the way they're treated at that level is really great. Like, whereas I know people that worked for corporate in the corporate office doing like accounting, and they said it was like one of the worst jobs they've ever had in their life.
Right.
So it's just like, it's a weird animal. It is an entertainment company, but it's also an extremely long-standing, profitable entertainment company for the most part. And they've survived. I mean, look at what they've survived. They survived the steroid trial. They survived Owen Hart falling to his death on television.
Benoit.
Like, they survived Benoit. I mean, they survived. You think they're not going to react? I mean, put it this way. 5 years, even 5 years ago, if AEW started, what would Vince have done immediately? Counter programming, like he would have done a lot.
Yeah,
right.
He wanted to crush them. Well,
oh yeah. They would have. They would have instructed the announcers to make comments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and nothing. It doesn't care. Like it's not even. It's like,
It doesn't care.
No response.
Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole show up, and then CM Punk show up in like 72 hours on your major competitor, and nothing from the company, like nothing. Like even Bryan Danielson was like, yeah, they're totally cool with it. It's just like, well, maybe because they're not going to be around. So I think if they are going to sell, it's next year.
There's something.
I guess the big question though is, John, is who stole the golden egg?
A lot of people think it's Rock, but that's dumb. I mean, there was I think that was just a way to put Vince on the show. Honestly.
Really? That was the easiest way to do it.
Is this how we're popping? Is this how we're popping ratings again? We bring back a McMahon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Stephanie might not be TV ready. You could take that as what it's worth. Shane is not really involved anymore, and Triple H has been seen once since his surgery, like once publicly. So who's going to do it? It's got to be the old man, right? And they probably had nothing for him. So it's just like, we'll do an egg. And
I just don't get how they have this little meeting and go, right, Vince, you coming back on? How can we get you come on? And somebody says, why don't you just introduce the show? And they go, no, we need something more convoluted and confusing. Who's got a golden egg? Like, surely there was easier ways to get Vince on the show than having that happen. I don't get it. But I am interested.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, it might just be a way to get people to watch tonight.
This is it.
Because they got a lot of shit for the Rock stuff, which I'm sure we were going to talk about. That was pretty upsetting to a lot of people that watched the show.
That the Rock wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well,
that was upsetting.
I said to Callum, it's so stupid, yet I kind of want to watch to see who stole the egg.
Me too, and I'm going to too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And the funny thing is, The Rock wasn't even in the country.
No, he's very busy.
Yeah,
isn't he shooting Black Adam?
He's shooting Black Adam, he's not even in the country at the moment.
He's in Australia, I think, or something like that.
Quarantining in Australia. He was never going to be there.
Yeah. God. But speaking of Survivor Series, John, I mean, what was your thoughts? I mean, I saw you tweet about the women's 5-on-5 match.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say, so when I put it on, late. And the Becky Charlotte match I enjoyed quite a bit. I don't know if you guys. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
The thing that ruined the match was the ending. Seemed very weak for the match. They deserved a better finish.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the pre-show, but as an opening match, I thought, oh, okay, this might be a good card tonight. Like that was because I was like, wow, that was really great. And they know they have to top that. They know they're going to have to top that. And their version of topping that was putting the men's major match on right after. Right? Isn't that what came on right after?
Yeah. That was the next match. Yeah. That was the next match.
The men's 5-on-5. So I was like, okay, that's an interesting choice. And I like the Raw team. I like the people for the Raw team.
Yeah.
I thought the SmackDown team seemed a little messy, but kind of a mess. I mean, everything from that point until the
Mm.
main, I thought cascaded
Yeah.
pretty
I said
poorly.
this to Callum. The standouts for me were the first match and the last match.
Yeah, 100%, which is usually not the
Yeah.
case, right?
No.
Usually you get that table setter in there where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, the second match was the tag match was the best of the whole night.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, okay, why do you think they put the women's match on, which had a lot of heat on it, at least in some regard? Like, why do you think they put that on first?
Well, I was reading earlier that was supposed to main event, and Reigns
That's what I
and
thought
Big
too.
E was supposed to open the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they've put that on first because that's the match that people want to see because of the real life animosity going on at the moment. I don't know, but like you said, it was a great match, but yeah, the ending was a bit shit. But it was a good match. I
Yeah, it was very entertaining. You know, the crowd was into it. You know, it's funny. The crowd was into it, and then they stopped being into pretty much almost everything else. It was really weird. Do you guys think having that on first hurt the show?
You know what? I a few years ago I would have thought so, but I think these days I don't even know if I don't even know if match order matters in WWE anymore. It's like the crowd's at such a constant like mood of just being deflated that they just don't really rise for anything. And I think in AEW, where the matches are a faster pace and there's more at stake sometimes, it does matter. But when I'm watching a WWE show now, I'm like, you can put this in any order and my attention's going to be the same.
But don't you think sometimes that's geographic? Because normally when they're in Brooklyn, it's awesome. I mean, like, think of some of Brooklyn crowd. I mean, Brooklyn crowd steps up pretty big. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, obviously. You know what I mean? And I'm from Brooklyn, and I worked for Barclays for many years. So good. But
that's a good point, though.
Like there was nothing. There was nothing New York about that crowd. Honestly, that could have been in the middle of middle America. That could have been in like a sleepy town and you know, further up north or whatever. Like that didn't feel like Brooklyn Survivor Series. Yeah, like, you know, the Brooklyn crowd's going to be crazy tonight. And the fact that the crowd turned on the show with their chanting and the AEW chants and the CM Punk chants. Oh, wow. I mean, they used to own that place, Barclays. I mean, remember the first NXT there where Bayley won the belt from Sasha?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Like a legend. That's like a top 20, like maybe the top 20 matches of the century. I mean, that might be the women's match of the century, actually.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, I'm with you on that one. It just didn't seem, the first match, the last match, brilliant. But in between, it was just dead. But going back to speaking of the 10-man match, the Raw SmackDown with the men.
The men.
What's your thoughts? Kevin Owens, do you think he's going?
No, I think this is all BS. I think this is Kevin Owens' dream job, and he acts like it's his dream job all the time. You look at his social media, this is where he wanted to be as a boy. Yeah, and he's treated very well. He's making millions of dollars. His family has moved to the States. Where are you putting Kevin Owens on the Wednesday night wish list? Like, is he gonna have to job to Jungle Boy? I mean, like people don't like. I get it. He's friends with all these. Yes, they're all friends. Everybody's friends. We've known this forever, right? Even when you know, it's not like the old days where this one makes fun of. Everybody's friends. They're all friends.
You know,
they're all friends with each other.
You have to remember as well. They're in the real world. Like people going, oh, you should go to AEW where he'd be in the main events and used better. Well, he's already making millions. He can pay his bills, look after his family. What does being used better actually mean in the real world when you're a pro wrestler? And he
could say shit on television. He could say the word shit
on television. Yeah. You get a world championship, great, but that doesn't pay your bills. Like, if he's financially stable in WWE and it's his dream job, fair play to him. I hope he stays.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a Kevin Owens guy, so I mean, I hope he stays. I've made no secret that he's one of my favorite.
Oh, he's amazing. I mean, and you know, it's funny if you rewind the clock. What about 8-9 years ago? He was sort of him and Sammy were the top of that class. Yeah. Like people would talk about like Red Dragon, like, you know, or the Bucks or whatever, or even Kenny. Kenny was, or when AJ was left to go to WWE, and then
Yeah.
Kenny stepped up in the Bullet Club, which a lot of people don't know their history, but that's what actually happened. And the way Adam Cole was positioned and all that other stuff. Kevin Steen and El Generico, that was like the indie darling. Those are like the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was like, oh, Kevin Steen is the greatest. And it's like, he's cutting these heel promos where he's cursing a lot, and he's he looks out of shape, but he's such a tough guy. And you have Sammy as that white meat baby face in the mask and coming out to the Bouncing Souls Olay song. It's like this was indie. This was the indie world. This was indie wrestling.
I hope they both stay. I hope they both stay.
I think they both will.
Because Sammy's contract's coming up into it as well at some point.
January. Is it December for Kevin and January for Sammy?
That's right, yeah. I hope they both stay. Because they need to be in the same company. And I really feel like Sammy does have a chicken shit heel world championship running him, or a top babyface running him at some point.
And another one as well. I mean, Gargano is coming up, I think, the 3rd of December.
Yeah, but they gave Gargano the moon. I mean, I like Johnny a lot. Who doesn't like Johnny Gargano? But like, what would his grievance be? Like, I don't like. They gave him everything. I mean,
he's not going anywhere.
He's
like what are you offering these guys? Yeah. It's like I like sometimes I make jokes about I have crushes on Katie Sackhoff, right, from The Mandalorian. She's like but I love her, and the girl from Mad Men, the redhead girl who's built like Jessica Rabbit. Now these women are great. I'm sure they're lovely people in real life, but I'm not I'm not leaving my wife for them tomorrow if they send me an email or something. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not upending my life because I have a crush on a girl from a TV show. Like it's people don't there's huge things that happen in this business with these guys with their families and upending where you live, and Sammy and Kevin kind of get to do whatever they kind of want to do. They don't seem like they're under pressure of any kind, and they both got hurt. They got hurt Sammy got hurt quite a bit. They took care of him, I'm just saying, the thought of them showing up on Wednesday when there's already not enough people on the, to begin, it's like, well, who gets pushed down? Who gets pushed out for Kevin Steen?
I think they're staying. And same with Gargano. I think Gargano's a lifer. I think
I do too.
Gargano is what you could maybe call as the first NXT legend. Like, he's positioned in NXT right now like he's a legend.
And Ciampa too. You said about Ciampa.
Ciampa too. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally like where would and I know Ciampa has said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll just retire. Because he's making this. You have to remember, like, these guys and people. Like, I just know this from being in like small bands and getting paid like very little money to do. So, sometimes the higher profile thing you do in music or entertainment, the less money you make. The reward is the profile. And that's what people like. I made more money. There have been times I've made less money with such small crowds performing than I did with huge crowds. And it's like, well, the crowd was the reward, right? So it's like what are you going to do, Kevin Steen? Kevin Steen's making $1.2 million a year. We're going to give him 1.5. It's like, oh, my life is completely changed now. Thank you. but I can tell you what the problem is going to be, and you don't hear enough people talking about this. And I don't know if Meltzer or Alvarez or even like Jason talk about this at this level, but the work schedule is a big thing. The work schedule, you got a guy like Moxley who was working 4 or 5 nights a week, sometimes 6 nights a week, traveling all over the world, to make that money. And they were hurt, and they were tired, and it was Christmas, and it was their kid's birthday or their wife's anniversary, and but they had to be out there doing it. Now you're talking about making similar money, if not the same, or in certain cases maybe more, and you're only working 2 nights a week. How do you compete with that?
Exactly.
But I think the way you compete with it, if you're the E, is you go, but we're WWE. We're we're gonna be here. We've been here for 100 years. We're gonna be here in 100 years. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was a kid. I'm a baseball guy, so one of the things that would happen when I was a kid in the 80s was people would at like 40 just disappear, at 38, 39, you know, they would go to Japan and make big money to play a couple more years.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that because they couldn't play here anymore. And they didn't want to be riding the bench at like 40 when they were like, well, I could be in Japan starting in left field.
That's
making
the same
even more money.
Here. That's the same over here with football, soccer. You'll see a lot of the players get into the twilight of their career, and now the big money's over in China and places like that. And they're going to they're finishing their career in China, and they're making £500,000-600,000 a week. You know, at 30.
Yeah, I mean, guys, look at Punk, right? We all like Punk. I'm assuming we all are fans.
Mm-hmm.
Could Punk survive looking like at 40? What is he, 42? Could Punk survive at 40, 43? Could he survive at 43 right now doing 5-6 nights a week in WWE?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't.
AJ does it. AJ's a freak athlete. AJ is a freak. Everyone says AJ is like a freak. He's an outliner.
Yeah.
Like AJ could do it. Jeff Hardy can do it. But I don't think Punk wants to do it. I don't think Moxley wants to do it. So if I'm Kevin or Sammy and I go, listen, I love this place to death. This is my dream job of my life, but I'd like to be home more than I'm on the road. So unless you could figure that out with me, I got to go. And the E doesn't do that.
Yeah.
They'll do it for Brock. They'll do it for The Rock. They ain't going to do it for Sami Zayn. They ain't going to do it for Tommaso Ciampa or whatever. Like, you know, and I get that too, you know.
This is true. I've just got the 1 minute warning, Kevin. So, Kevin. John. Sorry, we spoke to you we spoke to Kevin not that long ago. John, I apologise.
That's okay.
I've got the 1 minute warning. So before it cuts off, we'll say thank you. Quickly plug your podcast.
Well, Break the Apocalypse. We got the free shows every Friday, and then they have our Patreon where we do bonus shows and the unlimited shows. It's mostly a comedy show. We talk a lot about the news. We do talk a little about wrestling. We talk about me. We talk about Shaheen and B. Show Brian. We talk about you guys sometimes.
Hey.
We're all in this together. Now, I want to say before we get cut off, I enjoyed the first and the last match, but everything in between was pretty terrible and pretty disappointing.
I agree.
I promise next time you come on, John, we'll have Zoom Premium again, and we'll go for a few hours instead.
Yeah, let's tell Rivers I said I appreciate not showing up. It meant the world to me that he.
We will make sure he knows.
And I hope you guys have a great holiday season.
And you too. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a wonderful.
All right, my best.